Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Has been a while. It's a thing that came across my mind with regard to the artificial intelligence, long for AI or short for artificial intelligence. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of the artificial intelligence. I personally see more of the pros of the AI rather than the cons of it. This is my own experience anyway. And as a creator, artworks and designer, I experienced over the past years. Let's look at the pros of it. And when I used to work as a freelancing, designing small project for architecture works in the past, I tend to, uh, delay or give away a few some projects to others because doing drawing, sketch drawing, a proposal, merely sketches, and some clients are quite hard to convey the idea and without using uh, 3D rendering, or at the time we used to call it the CGI or computer generated images, and so that the client can understand the vision through visualization of those CGI. And of course back then, um, CGI rendering, or in the architecture term, or for the interior designers use it, rendering was never my forte. And I usually do it like the very basic of it, just to share the vision, the idea to clients, but was never good enough to share with the client. And for that reason, and I had to give away the project. I have to turn it down, which is not good for my career personally. And of course, when it comes to small project, and it costs, it's not worth it to do rendering for a small project, because such a small project, it costs money. To hire a rendering artist would cost a lot of money, and of course take time to produce into great detail to make sure they are accurate, to render them to achieve the result that I wanted. So that is the part of it, of the CGI. But now with the arrivals of the AI application, I can simply do some sketches, and with my own term, I can just take a picture or put in the laptop and ask the AI to do rendering. So of course, um, a bit of a description of what I want to achieve, and within a few minutes, the AI can do the rendering. I'll give you some of the example of my small project I did before. It's actually satisfying considering the amount of time and also the free cost without consulting with rendering artists. So to me, I think it has more positivity onto the using of the AI for the artists. Obviously, I don't really do much anymore of these works. I'm more into drawings and I do other things. But I wish AI arrived much earlier, before, back in the days where I had more client then, and I would have been a bit different story today. Yeah. So I know I did some of the rendering before, and then I was asked by some of the other artists, other creators, which is a fair question. The question was, would it be better to do it yourself or from scratch to do rendering, and to practice your own creativity rather than using the artificial intelligence to do it for you? Yeah, I can understand that, but we need to understand though, the creation of the creation of such design works, idea proposal, is still based on artist, the creator, and in terms of shape, context, uh, whatever that is. But the rendering does not need does not need to be doing in a certain way, because rendering is also based on the creation, based on sketches that is proposed or drawn by the artist. That's the way I see it. So I don't think rendering requires another creativity to it. Don't get me wrong. Rendering artists also, they have the talent of their own themselves, their own right. But as the initiator of idea, as designing in terms of things like building, mostly I do a lot of building works before. I don't think I need too much of a more adding into my rendering, because that if I change that, and the rendering would change the actual initial idea of my sketches or my drawings. So the way I see it, just take my sketch drawing and ask rendering AI to actually render it exactly as what my idea is there. So I don't think I require more creativity into it, because the creation is already required lots and lots of thought and idea into it. And to answer the previous questions, and the of course the rendering also with AI is also, with such a small project, it's also good, because it doesn't need more time, doesn't need any more money. Is for designers is really cost effective and less time consuming as well. So there's really pros of this using the arrival of the AI. I think I see AI is much more instead of taking over the job for creators or artists, designers. Instead, I would say AI is aiding or helping to help a lot more, helping into small practices, small project, like many small artists, small designers out there. So AI to me is actually really good. On the cons of it is the when creators try to create something to deceive others. But I don't really want to see more into the cons of it, because people already know what the bad thing, the negative side of the AI. But I'm talking from my own experience, from my own perspective. AI, you can use whatever you use out there. Usually I use ChatGPT, I use Gemini. There are more out there, but so far I don't think any issue with AI for creators, small artists, small designers. I would suggest you use AI. Suppose you design a building, small or big. Suppose you hire a rendering artist using the hyper realistic images that create the most hyper realistic. Once the building is actually constructed on site, there will always be amendment anyway. So I don't see the difference between using AI and uh, the rendering artist. I'm not saying taking over the rendering artist job, but for the small project, I would say AI is the best options. Um, it might not be perfect, not exact as the initial idea, but who cares? Because once the building is actually accepted, visualized by client, they like it, and will be accepted. Once it constructed on site, will be some amendment anyway. So the rendering using AI is just some kind of giving us sort of a idea for the client to understand, to visualize. So easy in the term of marketing perspective, commercial perspective. I think it's easy to gain the trust from clients. I'm talking again from my own experience back in the days when I present my work to some clients using just 2D drawing, just dry lines, and telling them, describing them, visualizing, conveying ideas quite hard for them to grasp, and without any basic rendering. I did, but again, they couldn't. Some client, unless they're in the business, maybe they understand. But most clients, small project that are involved, were client were quite novice themselves. They also need help from the architect, from designers, and it's not their fault to to understand, trying to understand more, because at the end of the day, it's their money and their house. I conclude that AI is actually really helpful for small designers or practices architect out there or songwriters, you name it. To me, depending what AI you need, depending on what suit your kind of works. And I also did some songs, track for, I create my own music. I'm creating my own lyrics, my own tracks, but more of a trial and error, more kind of testing, being experimental with these the the availability of this AI. I wrote few songs and I added into the the apps and choose the genre, either hip hop, rock, classical. Back in the days, I would hire a vocalist, and hire vocalists unless they're your friends or you work together. They're not free, so of course it take them time to come over and lots of work as a team, do a lot of sketch demo and blah blah. You know, the artists, the songwriters know how it works. But using the AI, I just add into it. It gave me a sense of a more kind of sketch idea, how I want that song, the track to be delivered. It's not exact in terms of instruments, in terms of uh, music with it, but it's actually, suppose I pursue more, it gives the track that was sung by the AI, it gives the sort of a idea to the actual vocalist to actually put the final touch into it, make it much more easier and cost effective as well, because using AI, I don't have to pay a vocalist or singers, and I don't have to pay for musician to actually put this my track together. So I actually did few songs, few music. I did it into um I chose hip hop. I would say I don't see negative any negativity about using AI from my own experience. I know a lot of skeptics out there for sure. We always skeptic about everything. There's nothing wrong with being skeptic, because skeptic is our right. Skeptic make a thing get better. So we look at the positive and negative side of it, which is part of the process. And I would say that the AI at the moment is actually the infant stage, I would say. Of course, AI was, I think it was the first book was written by Godfrey, what's the name of that guy? British English guy, a British guy, in 19, really published in 1984 about the artificial intelligence, and which is he's now hailed as the godfather of the AI. But finally, this for the last few years now, the AI is actually arrived. You can write your manuscript about books, and you can ask AI to check it, grammar, spelling, and so on. Then, of course, obviously, you need human expertise to actually put the final touch, but using AI to start with. So it's a cut cost. I don't know how to describe it. I would say, I'm not sure if the right word for it. AI is actually at the moment is a more of a digital. People said it's dangerous, but I think if AI become a threat to humanity, I would say when the actual digital is actually integrated or becoming synthetic, I would, or like a robot in a form of robot, just like the creation of humanity based on theology, religiously, spirits first. When the spirit become physical, like our body, that will be a threat. Like similar, like AI is the spirit, the digitals, then it integrated into a synthetic, a physical form. That will be a threat. But so far, I don't see any threat with AI at all as a digital, unless it damaging your laptop or damaging this system infrastructure within the cyber world, and that is a threat. But to humanity at the moment, as long as it's not physical, I would say AI is much more of a helpful to most of us. Still remember about years ago when at school we have to write by hand. If we make a mistake, the teachers will ask us to repeat those alphabet to make it perfect. If we don't, when Microsoft came, the keyword came, and people were skeptical about it as well, saying that, oh no, we don't need this. If you can't write, you won't be able to get a job in the office or a job somewhere else, because you make sure you need to be able to write perfectly. But here we are. Wherever we go these days, we don't really write by hand. We have to write by with the keyboard and sending email to each other. And again, the stage at the moment, people would say the same thing. Why should you, if you can't write a CV or write an email, write a job application letter, you won't be able to get a job because if using AI, no one would accept it. It seemed like we're going through the same process, going through the same pace where we are skeptic about things, but I don't believe that anymore. We have to move forward. I think in the next few years, when we start to get realize how valuable, how important AI is to us. So I would say AI is, to me anyway, I'm going to repeat again, AI to me is more of a really helpful things to have. And thank you very much. See you soon again next time.